I'm Carlos Castillo, the Regional Disaster Officer for the American Red Cross South Florida region. We, on a daily basis, we respond to for instance, home fires that a family may be displaced by a fire in the middle of the night, and most people don't realize that we're there all the time, every day. And so we have volunteers that go out when we're called. If families, whether it's in a home or an apartment building, but if they're displaced, we're there to help them. We respond, provide them assistance in the way of debit cards, in other words, so they can find a place to stay for the night or for several nights as needed, clothing, food, things that they may not have been able to get out when their home was on fire. We support first responders, for instance, for large incidents in South Florida, wildfires or other incidents there and emergencies. We support them through either snacks and hydration. We probably what we're most known for is major disasters, the work we do there. So we manage shelters when in South Florida, when there are hurricanes are coming, we manage the evacuation shelters throughout South Florida, throughout the country, but especially in South Florida. We also manage post-storm shelters and help people get back on their feet. My role is I lead the disaster services component of the Red Cross in South Florida. And the South Florida region encompasses 13 counties. On the north from Vero and Sebastian Inlet, down south to the tip of Monroe County, and up the other side to include Lee, Collier, Hendry, and Glades County. So it's pretty much 1/3 of the state. But there's a Red Cross throughout the world. So somewhat independent, but there is an international Red Cross. And it's been around for ages, you know, and so they're different roles. For instance, in Latin America and the Caribbean, the Red Cross, in addition to most of what we do, they also respond directly to emergencies and transport patients to the hospital. We don't do that here in the U.S. 94% of our workforce is volunteers. So although I have 12 people that report, 12 paid staff that report directly to me, there are hundreds more volunteers that come up when we need them. Some come in on a daily basis, others, you know, a few hours a week. And we're always looking for volunteers, and you know, that's something that's important to us, because we respond within the communities where we are, and the volunteers obviously are a key part of that community. People want to volunteer for the Red Cross. It's something that you can see the direct benefit of what you do, and we really work with volunteers to make sure that they can have the best experience. So I'll take an accountant, for instance. An accountant may come to us and say, I don't want to do anything that has to do with numbers. I want to pass out water or food on a disaster. We can work with them. Others love accounting so much that they can't get enough of it, and they'll volunteer as accountants or as areas that can help us with financial reporting or things like that. So we really work with people to identify how they can best get their experience and at the same time help us fulfill our mission. They can go on our website and volunteer. They can call our number, which is 305-644-1200, which is what I gave you earlier. And they can, like I said, they're going on the South Florida Red Cross website. They can see some of the opportunities that are available, but most importantly, if they make contact with one of our folks in volunteer services, they can talk with them to best identify what they'd like to do. When there aren't disasters, I manage through my staff the daily functions that we have in the daily emergencies, but we're also preparing year-round for the large events. Clearly in South Florida, the largest, the heaviest, biggest risk is hurricanes. So we make sure that we're prepared as an organization, but also that the community is prepared, so that we provide training, we provide assistance, we provide presentations, say, to corporate partners that would like to have their employees trained in their own preparedness, as well as things that they can do in a disaster. So we partner with a lot of corporate entities to do For instance, one good example of something that we're doing now is the home fire prevention campaign. So we'll go out and install smoke detectors that are free of charge to the people whose homes we install them in. But we know that for the Red Cross, our goal is to reduce the number of deaths as a result of residential fires by 25% in 5 years. So one way we're doing that is through education. Another way is through the smoke alarms, where people, if there is a fire in their home, they can get out quickly and safely. So we've done, where our goal is to install 1,000 a year throughout the region. Shortly after I started, there was a ceiling collapse in a large apartment building in North Miami, where at first it was thought that up to 250 people would be displaced. And it just happened to be one day after Christmas. So as you can imagine, South Florida is a popular place to be in the winter, so there were really no hotel rooms to be had. We opened a shelter for them, and were able to provide for people that had no place else to go. And that was very rewarding, as it is always for me, but we were also able to help them out immediately and get them the assistance they needed until they were able to find alternate places to go. Probably the next largest is a couple weeks ago, or recently, with the cold weather. So we support cold weather shelters, and in this case was in the northern end of our region, Fort Pierce, St. Lucie, Central Florida, where people, when the temperature is expected to be under 40 degrees, homeless shelters were open so that we could provide a place for homeless to go, to stay out of the weather. We're part of the emergency management community, so we support emergency management at the local level. And all disasters are local. So we have good partnerships with emergency management, fire departments. They call us almost daily here for home fires. When people are left out of their home, they know to call the Red Cross, and we can provide that assistance. We send volunteers to their home and provide the assistance that they need. So we've got good partnerships with the other emergency management partners.